Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty. You suck. You suck. You suck.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Ian Bruce and Patrick Keck.
So it was Oculus Connect, and it's the first time I've honestly paid too much attention to it because now it exists. I was anxious to find out about when I'll be getting touched and stuff like that. So it was quite a big event. They put all the videos on YouTube, so you can watch the keynote with Mark Zuckerberg. Palmer Luckey, curiously absent.
Not really. What were you expecting?
Controversial Palmer.
Yeah, I think he's done with that. I don't think you'll see him doing anything more for Oculus.
I think he may go and live on a beach on an island somewhere.
Probably with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, they had some interesting stuff. Did you pay much attention to any of it, Pat?
I paid no attention to it. I did watch. I think it's pretty telling, really, isn't it? Really, no, I didn't watch any of it, but I watched some of the highlights afterwards. Not an awful lot of exciting stuff there, from what I could see.
Well,
there was a couple of cool games, not launch ones, but there was the one from the Metro developers looks really cool. Arctica 1. Yeah, that looks really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was
that same tactile sort of thing that you were banging on about in raw data.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it looks like it's like a wave shooter, but with locomotion as well. Yeah, so it's similar sort of thing.
Yeah. And
the Epic thing looks cool as well. But from what I remember, like when they were talking about that initially, it was basically like just a really well polished, sexy tech demo to show what the Elite engine could do in VR. And as far as I know, it's still that, but it was sort of
Isn't this an
Unless
it's like an evolution of Bullet Train, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay.
Is it something to do with Bullet Train?
So is it not a tech demo anymore, or is that?
I think this is what they've kind of evolved Bullet Train into.
Right.
That's what I heard. I think. But it looks really cool. Like nice.
Yeah.
Bullet Train was good.
Looks like this.
Yeah. Oh, you've played it, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah, there was another game called Lone Echo that looks pretty cool, and that's by Ready at Dawn. And it kind of looks like, sort of like what Adrift might have been if it was a bit more exciting. Seems like you're floating around on a big space thing, clambering around. So with touch integrated, that should be quite cool. Hopefully. But yeah, they were also talking about this prototype. They showed a graph that had all the stuff they've released so far at one end and then a pair of sunglasses at the other. And basically they were sort of saying like that's where we're aiming. And they then showed this demo of this standalone VR device that they're working on as a kind of
inside out tracking. So it was basically an untethered mobile device with positional tracking, this is my claim, that is going to be the holy grail. Not even more than things like the PlayStation VR. When you got a mobile VR with positional tracking, so people can do that in their living room, that is going to be the
HoloLens already does that.
That's about Yeah. But HoloLens is very expensive though at the moment, isn't it?
It does it very well. Really very well.
My suspicion is that the person who will do it will be Google. The person who I think will do it first will be Google, and it won't be these because they've just announced the Daydream, the first phones from Google which are Daydream ready, and they don't have positional tracking. They have like a kind of Wii remote style controller. But
it's
Google obviously own Tango, so their future phones are going to have it, and I think that may possibly be how they work out the kind of room by room positional tracking stuff. Because I mean, you could map a room, and then you've got that for your positional reference, and also that gives you a chaperone. It stops you from running into your living room walls or in front of a bus or whatever. So my suspicion is that Google will be the ones that do the mobile thing, unless Apple are actually doing something interesting, which I very much doubt. Which I very much doubt, because they haven't done anything interesting for the last 4 years or so.
Yeah, the Daydream, they've definitely taken the whole wearables thing to heart, haven't they? It looks kind of like a jumper for your face.
It's got a nice kind of like material case, but it looks nice though. It looks kind of cool, and it looks, it looks. I think that looks a bit more appealing than another black box, which is obviously the
smart casual.
Yeah,
headset.
it's like, but that's obviously where they're going. They just didn't want to have another black box, I guess, or white box.
Go and see your mum and wear that.
Steady, Jesus.
So it looks like there's some software support behind the Daydream as well. Mike Biffle's working on something. Who did Thomas Was Alone and Volume, which I'm playing at the moment, and he's okay, but there's 100 levels, and my God, it's never going to end. That's a thing. Valve was showing off some new controller prototypes, so this is like
lovely.
A replacement for the Vive.
They look glorious. Very touch-like, a lot like touch, which is fair enough. That making it part of your hand is going to be the way forward, definitely, I think. But a lot of people were really raving about being able to pick stuff up and then throw it without having the Wii controller moment of, did I let go of the controller and what's that breaking noise?
And it's that thing of being able to let go of it and grab. So when you're grabbing things, suddenly you have a tactile thing in your hand.
Yes. That's
really cool, I think.
Yeah.
I can't wait until someone I know gets hold of them.
Yeah. No, I've been slowly making my way through a lot of the stuff from Oculus Connect, and I watched a 30-minute presentation on the design of the Touch and how they were like using like a combination of things that felt right and trying to get that articulation working, whilst also like not straying too far from what people know. Yeah. So like that's why it's inherited part of like they said there was 20 years worth of like controller development that they didn't want to just completely ignore. So yeah, I imagine that's why these new Vive ones do bear some resemblance. But yeah, they said it's something to do with the straps or something. That is there anything special about that, or is it just the fact that people felt they could let go of it? Was that it?
Yeah, so you've got a thing in your hand, and you can let go of it
because it wraps around your hand, doesn't it? It wraps.
Yeah,
it's like a.
So
it's always
tracking your hand, but also it gives you the ability to let go of it. So if I let go of my Vive controller, my sword swings through the floor, or my gun starts swinging about like it's on a rope, because it is. That's what they've fixed.
Yeah.
And Touch doesn't let you do that. You still have
Touch
to hold
will always be in your hand. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's
touch is around your hand.
Doesn't Touch do finger simulation? So it will.
Yeah. It'll do like a thumbs up or a bird and stuff like that.
Girls, Rob.
Oh, sorry. So while we're talking about Steam, they're adding native support for DualShock 4s, which is quite cool, because I know it's still, I guess, a DualShock, but the DualShock 4 has got like touchpads and a gyro in it and all sorts. So
and compatible with PlayStation Now, or whichever the streaming service that just came out on PC is.
Yeah. So it'll give you the ability to fully configure that. So it won't just be like plug your Xbox controller in. And they said they are going to do this for Xbox controllers as well eventually. So it's pretty cool if you've got a PS4 and you don't, want to make if you are into that.
Well, I don't have one yet, but I'll tell you what. Maybe next year I will have one.
Yes,
I'm just waiting for a really tasty VR exclusive on it. Then I'll Well, actually, I need a few. I think, before I buy.
I'd be happy with a game set in the Wild West. If only there was one on the way.
Yeah, so Rockstar started teasing. Well, they just did a picture of a Rockstar logo that was red, and somebody jokingly zoomed it out, and it was a table tennis bat. But no, it's not. It's and they just announced today that Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming in fall of 2017. Don't know what platforms for. Obviously, the new consoles.
We do know it's
no
PS4
word about
and Xbox One. That's all that's been announced. All that's been confirmed.
Yeah, I think if they do a PC version, it will probably be not for like a
Absolutely.
year later.
So people buy it twice, like I did. Fuck you, Rockstar. And your perfect games. Fuck you.
Did they? Yeah, well, apparently they've been working on it for over 5 years. So, because GTA 5 came out 3 years ago, and they were working on it. You know, they had another team working on this as well. So yeah, the picture shows like
a posse,
a magnificent seven.
Yeah,
you could say.
Needs to have
my immediate
proper
reaction
online.
when I saw that was like, that's obviously some message about multiplayer. They're obviously making a big deal about the multiplayer component of it, which is obviously what's going to happen.
Yeah, but also, like, I'm wondering if we'll have Wild West heists.
Yeah, maybe like the GTA
train robberies
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah. Train robberies obviously like springs to mind. They've shown the map, and it looks like it's a bigger area.
Yeah, but
than before.
But to be fair, it's probably got the amount of buildings like half a street or a block in GTA 5 because it's the fucking Wild West.
That's true.
It's
lots of deserts in between those areas.
Yeah, so it's deserts and mountains, tumbleweed, and the sodding eagles and ground animals, and that kind of pissed me off about the one before because it was just a lot of riding through dust, and I know that's what the Wild West was, but it was just and I'm riding again.
Yeah. They did use that to their advantage, though, in some sequences that I will never forget. Just amazing.
Did, but not
some
all
of the best bits of gaming ever. No. I mean, Witcher got like that as well. It's kind of comes with the territory, as it were.
Oh,
it's just it's just part of the. It's the open world games, isn't it? It's what they do. It's what they're like. Yeah. But the thing that it did though was that it had all those ambient sort of things that would just happen. That would you just get involved.
The wandering monster type thing.
And yeah. So and there's myself and a few other people mentioned like they may have announced this now because of all the fuss about Westworld. I think there's a lot of crossover there. And it's funny because it will actually come out around the same time as season 2 of Westworld as well, so that's funny. But yeah, another game, another sequel that's been long rumoured is Beyond Good and Evil, and apparently they are definitely working on this, even though it's been like probably a decade since the original came out. They actually were giving it away on Uplay, and I downloaded it. And
it's one of my favourite games.
It's mouse and keys. Hey?
It's one of my favourite games.
It is awesome. It's mouse and keys, though. It's really not aged well at all. You have to like sort of use Task Manager to get out of the game. It's so horrible. But it is a brilliant game. I mean, I'd love that. I'd love them to do a remaster just of the first one. I don't think I ever finished it because it was on the original Xbox.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, because that's when I first played it, and it was just like no one knew about it, and it was just this weird oddball thing.
Yeah, just the best ones always do.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so apparently that's on the way. Yeah, and the only last thing was that the people that made a game that I quite enjoyed earlier in the year, Jotun, are making a new game called Sundered, and this time it's a 2D, looks like a bit of a Metroidvania sort of thing, but it's got that same painterly art style, so that might be good. Hopefully that's coming out at some point next year. Yeah, and that's it. So yeah, I said it wasn't going to be a long one. Unless anyone's got anything else, happy to leave it there.
I've never had a long one, so.
This has been the Not Playing Podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself and Ian talk about movies and TV on the Not Watching Podcast, and Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of funny things on the Not Listening Podcast. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for the show at notlistening.co.uk, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya.
Goodbye. With no booty, my friend, I'm inclined to agree, 'cause I suck at Call of Duty. There's no hope for me. I suck at Call of Duty. I suck at Call of Duty. There's no hope for me. I suck at Call of Duty.
Just a slight tangent while I think of it. Pat, have you watched Westworld?
I watched the first episode.
You are watching that.
Is the second one out yet?
Oh, cool.
Third one is as well.
Cool.
If I said Trevor, do you know what I meant for the third one? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Big time. He keeps showing up.
I laughed my tits off at that. It really put me off. Okay. That was.
Put you off?
Yeah, because what the fuck is Trevor doing in Westworld, for fuck's sake? Sorry, spoiler.
I thought it was a nice little wink to some of their influences.
Yeah, I suppose
because
so,
they
but he's going to be in fucking Red Dead as well, isn't he? Probably already was.
It's so much about game theory, that show.
Anyway, wrong podcast.
It can be a bit on the note. It can be a bit on the nose, I guess. No, I just wondered if you were watching it, Pat, because it's just like, I mean, there was some speculation that it was in VR, but that's been debunked.
But it's got that kind of thing about it, hasn't it? That kind of.
It's just an MMO.
It's just a bit
that's
where,
all
like,
it is. I mean,
that's right. That's
right.
They are playing an MMO, but it's just a meat space MMO.
Yeah.
It's an MMO, but with the granularity and density of real life.
Yes.
It's mental. Like the bit where he helps the guy out of the mud, and then later on he comes along and says, "Oh, thank you, sir, for helping me out earlier. I've got this map I found. Do you want to go and take a look?" And then his mate just stabs him in the hand. It's like, I don't know if you've seen that. Pat. I'll shut up.
The Howard moment.
Sorry, I forgot.
No, you don't have to, Pat.
I'll shut up.
It's all right. I'll forget by the time I've watched it anyway.
Yeah, it won't make sense. You won't be. Oh yeah. Whatever.